The Reserve Bank of India, in its State of the Economy article, has assessed India's macroeconomic condition based on high-frequency indicators for December 2025. The assessment points toward continued growth momentum, resilient domestic demand, and optimism about future prospects despite elevated global geopolitical and geo-economic uncertainties. The views expressed in the article are those of the authors and not the official stance of the RBI. Key growth signals: domestic economy, robust demand condition, high frequency indicator suggest sustained buoyancy in growth impulses. Demand conditions remain upbeat, supported by consumption and economic activity. Revival of rural demand, retail automobile sales recorded broad-based growth across categories. Key drivers are GST rate cuts, improving affordability, year-end promotional offers, and pre-buying ahead of expected price hikes in January. Commercial activity and logistics. Retail commercial vehicle sales maintained strong growth. It indicates improved goods movement and strong underlying economic activity. GST and formal economy indicator. E-way bill generation continued healthy growth due to GST rate rationalization, stock clearances, and firms pushing year-end sales. Macroeconomic indicators. GDP growth. National Statistics Office first advance estimate. The real GDP growth is estimated at 7.4% in 25-26, up from 6.5% a year ago. Inflation trends. In December, the consumer price index inflation rose to 1.3%, driven by a lower rate of deflation in the food group along with an increase in core index. Global geopolitical and geo-economic risk. Key developments at the start of 2026. US intervention in Venezuela, ongoing Middle East conflict, uncertainty over Russia-Ukraine peace deal, escalation of the Greenland dispute, implications, elevated geo-economic risk, high policy uncertainty, potential spillover effects on trade, energy, and capital flows. Structural reforms and policy environment 2025. Major reforms highlighted: rationalization of tax structures, implementation of labor codes, labor market reforms, financial sector deregulation. Expected outcome: improved growth prospects, enhanced productivity, strengthen medium to long-term economic fundamentals. External sector and trade strategy. Export diversification. India has made significant efforts to diversify export, like focusing on new markets in Africa and Latin America. Trade negotiation. Ongoing talks with 14 countries, groups covering nearly 50 nations, including European Union, Gulf Cooperation Council, United States. Challenges and way forward. Persisting global geopolitical instability strengthen domestic demand while boosting export competitiveness. Risk of imported inflation. Tackling imported inflation by a mix of monetary interest rate cuts, fiscal reducing import duties, and trade policy boosting domestic supply chains. Balancing growth and inflation management. Maintain a balanced policy approach between innovation versus stability and growth versus consumer protection. Ensuring inclusive and sustainable growth. Deepen structural reforms to enhance productivity and resilience. Managing policy uncertainty. Continue prudent regulation and supervision. Conclusion. The Reserve Bank of India's State of Economy assessment underlined the resilience of Indian economy, supported by strong domestic demand, improving rural consumption, robust GST indicators, and sustained reform momentum. While global uncertainties remain elevated, India's macroeconomic fundamentals and reform-oriented policy framework provide credible grounds for optimism, positioning the economy for stronger and more stable long-term growth.